Hello, and welcome back to Alpha Nutrition. Today we're going to talk about HIV and its classification as a virus. The term retrovirus is used to describe the human immunodeficiency virus, also known as HIV. Retroviruses are RNA viruses that are unique in that they convert their RNA into DNA via an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, RT. As a result of this DNA's integration into the host cell's genome, the virus can multiply and eventually create more virus particles. Specifically, HIV attacks the immune system by infecting and destroying CD4+ T cells, a particular type of white blood cell essential to the body's ability to fight infections. HIV may severely affect the immune system over time, making the body more vulnerable to various infections and cancers. There are two main types of HIV, HIV-1 and HIV-2. The most common form of HIV in the world, HIV-1, is the main cause of most HIV infections. It is also the HIV type that spreads between people most easily. HIV-2 is less common than HIV-1 and is mostly found in West Africa. In addition, it spreads less easily and advances generally more slowly than HIV-1. Both types of HIV are closely related and share many similarities in terms of how they're transmitted and how they affect the body. However, they do have some important differences, particularly in terms of how they're diagnosed and treated. When it comes to diagnosis, most HIV tests are created to detect HIV-1 antibodies. The meaning of this is that they don't always correctly recognize HIV-2 infections. To confirm the diagnosis, an additional examination could be necessary if the person has been exposed to HIV-2. Both kinds of HIV are usually treated with antiretroviral therapy, ART, which is also known as an antiviral drug. According to the HIV type and other individual characteristics, the precise medications utilized could change. A complicated virus called HIV creates a dangerous infection that could be fatal. People are able to better understand the virus and how it affects the body by understanding the kind of virus it is and how it affects the body. The three subtypes of HIV-1 are called M, N, and O. Group M is the most frequent form and is responsible for the global HIV outbreak. Group N is very rare and has only been identified in a small number of people in Cameroon, while Group O can be found all over West and Central Africa. Viruses that are classified as retroviruses include HIV. Retroviruses multiply in a different way than other viruses, such as viruses that can cause the flu or a cold. During an infection, a retrovirus inserts its genetic material into the DNA of the infected cell. As a result, every time a cell divides, the virus can reproduce. HIV is transmitted through certain body fluids, including blood, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. The most common routes of transmission are unprotected sexual intercourse, sharing needles or other injection equipment, and mother-to-child transmission during childbirth, breastfeeding, or pregnancy. There is no cure for HIV, but antiretroviral therapy, ART, can help people with HIV manage the infection and live longer, healthier lives. The medications in ART work together to inhibit the virus and stop it from multiplying. When used properly and consistently, ART can lower the body's infections to undetectable levels, effectively reducing the possibility of spreading the virus to others. Antiretroviral therapy, ART, is used to treat HIV-1 subtypes that vary in infectiousness, rate of transmission, and responsiveness. The most common variant, subtype B, is found in North America and Western Europe. Compared to other subtypes, subtype B has often been associated with a quicker development of AIDS and a worse response to particular ART medicines. Subtype C, on the other hand, is primarily seen in sub-Saharan Africa and generally comes with an earlier diagnosis of AIDS and a better response to ART. HIV-1 and HIV-2 both contribute to the development of AIDS and have similar means of transmission. But the two viruses can vary significantly in some important ways. Firstly, HIV-2 is less infectious and less easily transmitted than HIV-1. This is because HIV-2 is less able to survive outside the body, and is less able to establish an infection in the body. As a result, HIV-2 is mainly found in West Africa and is less common in other parts of the world. Secondly, HIV-2 progresses more slowly than HIV-1. This means that people with HIV-2 tend to live longer without developing AIDS. However, because HIV-2 is less common, there is less research and fewer treatment options available for people living with the virus. Thirdly, HIV-2 is less responsive to some antiretroviral drugs than HIV-1. This means that people with HIV-2 may need different medications to manage their infection. Finally, there is a difference in the types of tests used to diagnose HIV-1 and HIV-2. Most HIV tests are designed to detect HIV-1 antibodies, but they may not detect HIV-2 antibodies. Therefore, if a person has been exposed to HIV-2, they may need a different test to confirm the diagnosis. It is important to keep in mind that HIV-1 and HIV-2 are not the same. This means that if a person has been infected with HIV-1, they cannot be infected with HIV-2, and vice versa. However, because HIV-2 is less common, people who are infected with HIV-2 may also be infected with HIV-1. In summary, HIV-1 and HIV-2 are two different types of viruses that both cause AIDS. HIV-2 is less infectious and less easily transmitted than HIV-1, but it progresses more slowly. People with HIV-2 may need different medications to manage their infection and may require a different test to confirm the diagnosis. It is important to understand the differences between the two viruses in order to effectively prevent and manage HIV infections. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Alpha Nutrition for more daily videos on health and wellness.